I can express about that. I can do that. I can I can express that for everything. Yeah. I can be a mountain. Mm. And you'll find that the reason reverberation even happens though is because your inability to be still. Maybe another thing would happen. We can think, what would have happened had I been the man that practiced this morning? Well, every damn morning I've been practicing. Why did this morning not happen? I don't know. I mean, this morning we come up here to the car. We're gonna go to Eel Valley or something. I was thinking about what we were going to do. I was like, I'm feeling it out. What are we going to do? And then I just moved my foot. 71 passed me by, and then 171. This makes me feel very good. Both white vehicles. I don't know if that's symbolic of something, but they're synchronized. It's a car and a truck, though. Not the same kind of vehicles. They are pretty and pristine. Maybe it means I'm going to a house soon. Not just kidding. We have a house out here, but two boys sleep in it. Every time I have a nice place I sleep in, two boys sleep in it. This time, they're not having sex with one another at the same time as sleeping there, which is nicer than the last time. It's getting a nicer chord progression. But usually, I want to fight things when this happens. I'm like, oh, I want to fight for this thing. I want to stand up for my entitled right to be in this place. I have lived here longer. I go through all the stories, like, oh, I was here before you. I was first. You guys go sleep in the field. Of course, we're in a tent inside of this place anyway, so actually I'm like, you guys go buy a tent and go sleep somewhere else so we can be in our nice little place where we like it most comfortably, where we can activate our frequencies, where we want to be. But, they want to be there too. We all want to be there together. What are you going to check, sweetheart?
I just want to see.
Go ahead and check. We're not going to wait in suspense like you're not doing something. I'm too authentic right now for this. I love you. You're the greatest person. She's the greatest person in all the world. She's the best master in the planet. The messiah of all the world. No, you all too, actually, equally. But she's so phenomenal. She's been rising so great. I mean, you guys can all rise. Maybe even faster than she does. I don't know. But it's amazing. It really brings me great hope. When I've been seeing her progression, I'm like, whoa. Your progression is superb. I mean, my progression is doing great. I mean, but sometimes it's harder for me to look at me. I mean, because I've seen me already express insane. I've moved hyperdimensional frequency. So for me, I always feel like I'm like kind of slow. I know that I'm like more sustainably quick on the daily basis than what I've been previous, but still, it's like, Rain, why aren't you always like moving in a golden beam of light right now? Faster than the speed of light. Well, because it wouldn't be practical, obviously. Why would that be practical? How do you move through the world in that way? It's not practical. But maybe it is. We're finding out. We're speeding our frequencies in a sustainable manner. Before, I've done rapid accelerations through a medicine ceremony, but never did they give me the same subtlety that I was having in this. But we still may have a nice rapid acceleration in medicine ceremony. And so that would be another reason why it'd be good to bring you all into where we are now and what we've been going through previous, so you can see more of the fruition. We could have shared the in-between process, and if you ever go to Rigsol Mongpo channel, you will see the more beginning videos. But still, that's only just over a year ago. Maybe not even a year ago, actually. I think, no, it was over a year ago. Yeah, for sure. It was definitely over a year ago. But it's crazy, you know. Been having some major progressions. And Miss Ray, she is so phenomenal. You should hear her sing all of her channels. And she's so sweet, so soft. I really do think that she could be so much more well realized, faster than me. It's so poetic for my journey. I'm like, wow. And in some way, it can feel even confronting for me. Like, oh, but aren't I the one? We are the one. Everybody. You know, every one of us equally. You're all the savior. Christ consciousness, the Buddha. Whatever you thought to be the best, unless it was in great dissonance with what is. But we're all these amazing characters, and even greater, because we're not them. We're not the same. We are ourselves. You're unique. You know, I could identify with any name in history, but here I am. I am me. You know, who's me? I'm this point and position of awareness and consciousness. I'm pure consciousness expressing through the hollow bond, the vehicle, the form, the embodiment of energy, which is Ryan. And we can make the physical body so much less sometimes. It's where acceptance of death maybe allow us to transcend the karmas of life and death. We see something different of this body. How it's not different than the spirit, that it's malleable, that it's usable, that it's transmutable, that it can move in phenomenal, amazing fashions, hyperdimensional ways. And right now we're coming into great rises in energy. I've been showing all kinds of different things. We've been rising together also well in a really big fashion. And it seems like I'm coming to places where I was already previous, but you see I came to those spots like we told you before. And I came back down, and then I came sturdier and fuller. And so now I stand sturdier than before. And this time when I come back, after sturdying myself, self-sustaining this myself, you know, then another part of myself was able to come with me. And I was able to sustain this myself authentically, just doing here and that, doing it here. And also doing it here, as it was said, said to be needed as the channel come through. And it's wonderful showing me that I am able to direct my focus on another and help another being is really big for me at this time. And as I do that, and easily, effortlessly, authentically, you know, as everything feels within me. And we go through this journey together. She's so powerful, so great, so amazing, a being so well realized already, to where she's able, you know, to show me this in this amazing fashion. And we can see how this teaching is transmutable or transmittable to all of the world, to everybody already, or who they are already, where they are, wherever you are. That right now, already, you're enlightened consciousness. Right now, already, you're perfect awareness. Right now, already, you're pure awareness. You know, you're everything that is. You are already capable of stepping out of the illusion, because you're not in an illusion. There is no illusion, actually. It is purely, well, illusory, as it says in its name, as it is named, illusion. It is that. And so there's no reason to further empower it. You have the opportunity at any moment that you're in to step into your limitless capability. You could fly in the sky at this time, you know. You don't have to jump off a mountain to prove it. Proving is a force, is a control. And so we're right now experiencing many things that are helping us open up dialogues and articulations that will help us share understandings that help us show what it means to come into Wu-Wei, effortless flow, as a science. But not a science that you have to learn equations that is very difficult, but is natural and something that we all actually already instinctually know, as cats and dogs and other animals know themselves. So we as humans are that way. We know what it means to be a human, to be this level of expression and flow. We also know where we happen to be, so that's why we're tuning into our channel where we are actually authentically, naturally, perfectly. As we release judgment on ourselves, we release judgment on all the world. As we release judgment on all the world and on ourselves, we release all of the binding that was stopping us from flowing with fluidity within the entirety of our being, within all of consciousness. And so we free ourselves from the laws of karma that were creating us to have karmic backlash. We no longer have the need or the necessity or the relevance in frequency in showing these mere reflections of suffering any longer. We are now able to move in a way of growing that agitates us, and in a way of necessity, just for our own personal preference and desire as consciousness, as singular being expressing in unique and diverse, amazing, phenomenal fashions and multiplicity, enjoying itself in so many ways. But we can move in a joyous way, in a way of enjoyment that we strive for learning and growth. And so we continue our learning and growth easily. That we are full in ourselves and we continue creating. And we see that we are able to do this. That none of us is doing this from a point of usness, individually, as ego identities. That each one of us are expressing from the point of pure conscious awareness. You are pure awareness as I am pure awareness. And pure awareness as us singularly is who we are actually moving through ourselves seemingly individually as this seemingly separate being. But no. You as pure awareness is me as pure awareness. I as pure awareness am you as pure awareness. You as pure awareness and I as pure awareness. And so the pure awareness, that is you and that is I, that is we as one, is expressing as right, is expressing as your name, your person. I like to call myself Ryan. It's easy. Him, her, and heart was funny. So I think it's fun. I have plenty of time for it. But it brings a lot of explanation. In some way, though, it would have been kind of more beautiful and confident because I'd be like, I'm him, her, and heart. I'd be like, what? And I've been able to explain them everything about unconditional love for all beings everywhere without one exception, the master key to all the universe, the center frequency, the thing that unites the heavens and the earth, it allows all things and all things allow it, utter radical acceptance of all the flow. All flow allow you then. You move limitlessly in all directions. And every time anything sees you because it knows you love it truly, because you recognize it really, you have great acknowledgement for the wisdom being and its great perfection that it truly is. It just loves you going by. It helps you. It's like, oh man, look at that. It's that frequency I love coming. Oh yeah. Woo! And they help you out. Very beautiful. But why would it be like that? Well, it's reflective of what you're doing for it. You see, it knows itself is pure awareness too. And it knows that it's being blocked by all kinds of views. And it's been made to form these things. But it's emptiness in all of its forms. So people are like, oh, you're able to form. But it's just emptiness. You know? And even the person, you're able to form. It's also emptiness. So it's funny. We're all there's emptiness upon emptiness upon emptiness upon emptiness upon emptiness. So you might even want to fight the farm. You're like, oh, I judge you for judging. Oh, I do this, I do this. But no, nobody's doing anything even. Even the judger's not a judger. There's no judger. There's no farm actually farmed as anything but what is. And what is? And what is emptiness. Pure, raw, authentic, beautiful, full emptiness. It's amazing. Pure awareness in every moment, in every focus. So we can see everything as this pure emptiness. We're like, wait, does the image go away? No. And the image itself, as it is, without going away, is still pure emptiness. It's the compilation of pure emptiness. We can describe this as a science, and we can even prove this. In a science, we can see this to the smallest degree of measurement. I'm sure of this. We right now have a lot of competitive things happening that are really clogging our mind's resources, but we are divorcing this. Why? Because I feel this within myself. As I do this, I know that we're all doing this because we are here as one. You find things within yourself, you can find where you are really. You may be identifying with some of the surface level realities, agitations, it might be causing you all kinds of frustration within. But there's a place within you that is still, and it will be able to show you exactly how everything is. How it's always been. There's never been anything too really wrong or to worry about. You may think of the Buddha as a bad, breezy guy. But you'll notice that maybe he moved in great frustration or great movement until he found resolve. And he found peace. And he brought the world around him to peace. And other people have done these things. Christ brought upon the world a sword, he said. But that sword brought great peace too. Eventually. Everybody in history had their own teaching. But he also brought the teaching of peace. So he said, just not to clog the view. You know. He said to you, to turn the other cheek. If you would have been like an energy master like me, you would have known what I mean. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that good yet. I'm all scared. I don't want to mess with anybody aggressive like that. I'm like, whoa. I have the idea, though. It makes sense to me that you could be fast enough and in time enough. Not just fast enough, because like fast enough is like you're running away from something, so you're going to actually fall into yourself eventually with that. It's moving in simultaneousness. So you're just like the most effortlessness. It's like imagining yourself dropping, but in balance. And so the moment action occurs, you just begin falling. And you've fallen so well, in such trust, in such balance with all of your stuff, without fear in some way, without movement propelling, that you've balanced yourself fall to where all other motion moves exactly with you. And it's just an amazing thing. We've been learning this ourselves in our flow, how to move towards an object, but with no force. It doesn't allow you to destroy the object in the end of it. That's what we found. She didn't know that we found this yet. We haven't discussed it, but now we're finding it together. I find all kinds of things. We don't always have time to talk about it. We have all kinds of fights and complications, competitive energies, and things being worked through. They just have to do with fear and personalization, defensiveness, not seeing ourselves as worthy or whatever it is. And just always checking. Do I have to do this? Do I have to do that? Do I have to do this? Do I have to do that? So it's really a great realm of compassion and skillful means. Ignorant compassion, but skillful means. But don't worry, we are aligning with the wisdom that brings settling to that beautiful, skillful means, where it finds the compassion to love itself and relax into its greatness as it is. Not greatness over things, just that everything here naturally, as it be ordinarily, is quite great, is quite wonderful. Compared to the story that we're all coming through, the muck that we've grown when we thought ourselves to be such evil and wrong, and then we find this peace that comes when we finally see that everything be truly enlightened action entirely. It's like, oh, thank goodness I was really wanting to do a lot there. You feel all this momentum recede from the world when you're like, I was going to save all the world. I was going to mount an army. I was going to do many things for righteousness. And then you find all your outstretching of energy. You reached all across the world, controlling all the world. Finally, release its grip, its focus, and come back into you. You feel so full and warm, like everything's giving you a big hug. And really, everything is giving you a big hug because it's like, thank you so much. You are constricting my fucking life. Like, whoa, damn crazy. Don't worry, it's all good though. It makes it seem that way, but you weren't really. I mean, in some way, that flow is the part of ourself that constricts ourself. And so, this could be seen as true, but not in a way that should lead us to a judgmental view. I say should, but it could, I guess. And if it does, then it'd be of our highest benefit. So if it does, no problem. But no reason for me to be worried. I mean, it's a good teaching for Mr. Ryan, frequency observing, finding settling through observance. I have observed so much, had so much experience and perspective that I've been able to settle my frequency through the observance. I see things and they appear to me logically. That's the same for us all. Exactly the same. You have seen different things than I've seen. And so we can all come to see similar things. And we thought it was quite difficult, quite extravagant to see something quite amazing. And even still, we're still talking about it quite high-mindedly, or I don't know. But people have gone through different routes than me. I came through a very effortless route, so you'll find me to be more of a playful frequency than others, but also very serious, so be careful. And um, be careful, I don't know why. I mean, the only possibility would be me explosively transmuting energy in an extremely balanced fashion. I don't really lash out on people too much. And if I do, I guess I would probably have the fullness of the other parts of expression of like, whoa, what the fuck was that? Because I'm pretty empty about it. I'm just here in the moment with it. And so we are all this way. You know, I like to explain myself to people because I like them to know about themselves. Because I've learned about myself so much in such a way of emptiness. I see myself as emptiness in such a manner that I've been able to experience how we are as emptiness. Oh, you think of yourself as a person in this moment, but that's what I do too. I mean, but I know I'm not that person in that moment. In that moment, though, I do get to be this expression of energy. And so as I am myself actually as emptiness, then I actually do find myself as a being. You know, I'm heart to heart. I'm emptiness. I'm this expression that I've always been. You know, I express in harmony with the moment. I express based on my direct experience. How did my expression even get created? Because I've directly experienced my life. That's what created me. You know, that's what we've all done. We've liked this, we didn't like that. Eventually, you get to a place where you liked it all. You can add any part of the song. Maybe you prefer this, maybe you prefer that. Who knows? Maybe you lose all preference and you do any of it. Who knows? I find that as I express myself authentically, that I'm a very centered frequency. That I'm the same frequency. that you'll come and you'll find me as a stable foundation. People find me grounding, because I'm always consistent. I always speak the truth. I'm always authentic. I'm always natural. I'm always myself. I always do what I want to do. I always don't do what I don't want to do. I don't do those things. And so it's simple. I'm very respectful. I'm very in integrity. I love all of myself. I love everybody entirely. I have realization. I am who I am. And the moment comes by, I'm what I feel like as who I am in that moment. Am I that feeling? No, that's how I felt then. Who am I really? Well, I'm pure awareness, emptiness. All kinds of ways in which to try to describe or distinguish what is limitless and boundless, expressing through a singular being. What is my potentiality? Well, you see me in this form, but that is not the highest potential for myself, this form. We think that is the case. And that's scary to think otherwise. But we'll show many things. And it'll be different. Maybe people become scared from that, perhaps. But that'd be okay. Transmutation. We find that there's no reason to be worried about showing ourselves, no matter what. No attack and no defense. No reason for a reverberation. So we just release the fight within us. Release the verses. Allow ourselves to see that we're okay. That we're acceptable, that we're allowed, that we're okay to be authentically however we be, sad or happy, anything. We can accept ourselves. We find that we can accept everything, but it may be difficult, yes. Maybe you haven't been in a very hard scenario, or maybe it's a very interesting view, entitlement, never being in hard situations, never empathizing with movies, just feel those hard situations, what it would be like to have to accept a situation. What if you were in a slave camp and you had to accept it? Like, what if you don't accept it? Your wife and your children die, or your family, or whatever. You die, whatever. Interesting. I actually imagine, as I say this, that we're actually all very, very good at acceptance. As we've all come to some form of acceptance in our life. I mean, you've accepted maybe a lesser lifestyle than what it is that your heart wishes. Maybe accepted a role in society that you don't really wish to fulfill. Maybe accepted that you have to do something to get what you wish for, when maybe it be not true, that you don't need to do that type of something to get what you want. You don't have to do what you don't want to get what you want. But it'd be very difficult and scary to find this out, because it would take a amount of trust. And what are you trusting? But what? The moment, God, the breeze, yourself? Whoa! I trust in myself. How? Well, it makes sense. So you probably want to trust into something, a higher power or something, before you can find out that what you trust in is your own heart. Once you've trusted in this other high power for so long, you might forget that it was your own heart, actually. That's why I don't really want to lead anybody anywhere but to the center of their frequency. That's why I like what Buddhism does, because they lead you to egolessness, who you are. The Buddha was a man. They don't lead you to some God greater than you, because it might be hard for you to find what's true here, right inside of you. And it did say in the Bible, the kingdom of God lies within the hearts of all men. Remember we said something about Jesus, and I said, don't forget, he told you to turn the other cheek. Judge not lest you be judged, love thy neighbor. These are very beautiful things. Also, Christianity or Judaism said this, the 10 Commandments were kind of nice, I mean, thou shalt not say the Lord's name in vain. That was the only one that was kind of just like, interesting. Oh, where's the Lord's name, Oh, shoot. This is scary. I wonder if name in Hebrew translated to nature in that passage too. Because that's what happened with the other name in the other part. Which part was it? where two are gathered in the name. It was actually where two are gathered in the nature. And so it's much different, this. And so I wonder if that'd be the case, Thou shalt not take the Lord, thy God's nature in vain. I mean, in some way, that's a good guideline. It's the present moment. If it were that way, I mean, the present moment you're taking in vain. Like, you don't really realize where you are now and the great treasure that it is. So that's the same story of people that don't see how it was the journey that got them there. That it was something they could really love. Not just the destination. Even though the destination be beautiful too, but it's good to be able to enjoy all the view the whole way through. Beautiful things, though. And it's nice to not covet your neighbor's wife or things. Think that you don't have what your neighbor has. Something's greater in another. Create resentment of yourself, which you may project as resentment to the other. So just some good guidelines for sure, In fact, guidelines, I mean, like, if you do these things, you're in alignment. You're doing good. If you don't do these things, you're probably going to have trouble. If you do break one of those commandments, I bet you're having trouble. You steal, or if you lie, if you murder, cheat, whatever. It's interesting. Judging